everyone, it's John from What Up, and welcome back to another video. And this is the second video I promised you folks tonight, and that is the teasers for episode 7. Yes, we got a couple of them. One at the end of episode 6, an additional one today with some more scenes that we're going to see likely in either episode 7 or 8. So we're going to talk about both these things today. We're going to sort of break down what's in them and what hints it gives us as to the next couple of episodes. So if you're new to the channel, you don't know what we do here. We talk Wheel of Time. That's pretty much all we do. News, rumors, leaks, you name it, we cover it. We're also doing reviews, Easter eggs, and breakdowns for each and every episode of Season 2. When Season 2 is done, we're on to Season 3 stuff, including leaks and rumors about that, as well as official news. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you like the Wheel of Time, because you're not going to want to miss anything that we're talking about in the coming weeks and months. All of that being said, we do have to give a small bit of a spoiler warning since we're talking both teasers and episodes 7 and 8, because let's face it, not everyone enjoys spoilers like I do. So we're going to give a bit of a spoiler warning, then we'll go through one of the teasers, we'll talk about it, then we'll go through the second teaser and we'll talk about that. A lot to unpack here, so buckle in for a fairly long video. But first, spoiler warning. Since we're talking teasers about episodes 7 and 8 in this particular video, if you have not watched the first season of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show and the first 6 episodes of Season 2, be forewarned, I may ruin plot points and character arcs from that medium. And as well, if you haven't read the first 4 books of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series, The Eye of the World, The Great Hunt, The Dragon Reborn, and The Shadow Rising, I may also ruin plot points and character arcs from that medium as well. All right, that being said, let's get into the very first teaser for episodes 7 and 8.
We tried our way, Murray, and we nearly lost everything.
And this whole thing you're doing with Swan, it puts all of it, the last battle, the fate of the world in jeopardy.
What does the ambulance seat want from me? Is this a trial? I saw what she did to the last man who called himself Drake. Whatever comes, face it on your feet.
Prepare him for what is to come.
All right, so we're going to go through this step by step. There's a ton to unpack here. So we watched it with the audio. Now I'm going to talk over it now. So what I missed in the opening was the lady that appeared to be blind. Now, there's a lot of people out there thinking that that's Katara. She is an old Aes Sedai that gave the foretelling of the Dragon Reborn before she passed. Now, Moiraine was in the room when it happened, and that's what started everything. That's what started the hunt. That's why Moiraine and Swan wrote looking for the Dragon Reborn. That's what started it all. So I think we're going to see some flashbacks in the next episode. I think we're actually going to get to see that scene, which makes me incredibly excited. Yeah, no, really, really cool stuff for that, because there's been a lot of questions whether or not we'll get that. Now, the next couple of scenes here, we have Moiraine and Swan, and we're going to see a fair bit of interaction with them. Swan doesn't appear to be too happy with Moiraine, and vice versa, I think. There's some stuff going on here behind the scenes, I think, and I think the anger is real. I honestly think that this is going to lead to Swan's downfall. We know the Tower coup happens in Season 3, and I think this stuff, including Lan blabbing just a bit about the Dragon Reborn, what's going on publicly to other people, may eventually lead to Swan's downfall. Because, let's face it, it was the Dragon Reborn that indirectly led to that Tower coup, as well as some power-hungry people just kind of wanting power in the book series. We'll likely see the same thing in the show. Then we get to see this next scene here. The Forgate is on fire, and all the Aes Sedai are watching it. This is kind of hand in hand with something that happens at the end of the teaser. We know that Lanfear is likely the one torching the Forgate, and we've seen the Trolloc puppets in episode 6. So I think those Trolloc puppets are going to be covered for real Trollocs being brought in, just like in the book series. And this may be when Rand, Moiraine, and Lan kind of got to hightail it out of Cairhien. Really, really neat scenes either way. Now, this is something I was waiting for a number of different episodes. Lan and Moraine's reunion. She's angry with him. And let's face it, although it's been pretty book accurate, a lot of the fans are saying that it's drug on a little too long. They kind of want to see them back together. They like to see them whole. They like to see them back to their old selves. That kind of sort of happened in the book series, but they both evolved into different people. But kept some of the characteristics of the original characters. I think we're going to see that. I think they're going to be a little more mature after this fight, and they're definitely going to start hanging out together again. We know that they're together in episode 7 and 8, so maybe, just maybe, they'll pair back up as Aes Sedai and Mortar, and we'll get to see them being badass again on the screen. I hope so anyway. Now, for those of you folks out there who've been saying, well, Rand doesn't know how to use a sword yet, how could some dude in a sanatorium teach him with sticks? Well, this is our first indication that Rand actually knows how to use the weapon he wields. Lan reaches out for him, and he does a sword form to get away from him. So we're going to start seeing sword forms. This is, I think, kind of a hint to the fans that Rand knows what he's doing, and maybe Lan will kind of enhance that knowledge a bit, because we get to hear him say the line that everyone wanted him to say, that he tells Rand just before he meets the Emerald in the book series. Face it on your feet, so to speak. So I think Lan's going to spend some time teaching him, at least a little bit anyway, to enhance his skills. Then we get to see a scene with Rand actually meeting the Emerald here. We've already seen a number of different scenes with him meeting her in promotional material, and I think it's going to be central to the plot of episode 6, or episode 7 rather, and I think it's going to be kind of a game changer for how the rest of this season and the start of season 3 is going to happen. Now this year, this is our big hint that it's Lanfear torching the Foregate. A lot of people have been saying this is likely her doing that. Foregate's on fire. What we see in the background here appears to be the same structures on the Kyrian wall. So I think this is likely her channeling and torching the Foregate. You see the little specks of fire. This appears to be channeling fire. Really cool nonetheless. Followed by that. Now, those scenes there, we've shown behind the scenes stuff here on the channel before where we think Lanfear is kind of walking, flicking your hands, blowing things up. It's likely her walking through the Foregate and just blowing everything up. Absolutely, really very neat. All right, so the next teaser we're going to take a look at dropped today, actually. And I'm not 100% convinced it's just episode 7. It might be episode 7 and 8, which is why I stated that in the earlier portion of the video, because we don't know. There's some stuff here from earlier episodes. There's some stuff we've already seen. But there's a couple of new things here that I really want to talk about because they give us some insight as to what's going on and some really, really cool scenes. All right, let's take a look at this second teaser.
It's not always the most powerful who write history. It's the ones who survive. To seek, to strive, is to know danger.
Whatever comes, you face it on your feet. Let's stand ready.
All right, so this one here, there is a couple of things that I want to talk about that are new. We'll try to stop it on the right spots. We've seen this before. We've seen Rand facing off against Turok in a number of different promotional materials. I think this is more of an episode 8 thing, maybe not an episode 7 thing. So remember, we're getting the Queen's marriage in the next episode. Maybe it'll just be referenced and we won't actually see it. Definitely getting the Foregate burning down. We're getting a ton of different stuff. I don't know if Rand's going to be in Fulham for the entirety, and enough part of the episode to actually show this. This might be episode 8 stuff. We finally get to see Ingtar just absolutely being badass. And he's wearing some Shan armor. I think this might be part of the scene where they're trying to rescue Egwene, or at the very least during the end fight at Falm. So this might be an episode 8 thing. Maybe it's an episode 7 thing. I'm not entirely sure. But it's definitely something that we're all been waiting to see. We're talking about the 5 Ride Forth scene where I think we're going to get that. I think it's going to be emotional for a lot of non-book readers who don't know what's coming with Ingtar. I'm pretty excited for that either way. All right, next up we have this shot here. We've seen a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, a lot of leaks of this Waygate out by the ocean in the water. In fact, way back when, in between seasons, a ton of windsurfers were taking pictures of it. We showed them here on the channel. Really neat. This is Moraine and Lan outside of that particular Waygate, and I'm excited to see where that is. I don't know if that's going to be the Waygate in Tyr, or if that's going to be a Waygate perhaps in the Waste. There's a lot of water there for the Waste. I don't think it's that. But maybe that's the Waygate of them getting to Falm. I'm not 100%. Next new thing I want to talk about here, we've seen all of these scenes before, but this, whatever comes, face it on your feet. I mentioned that as being part of the last teaser. It didn't actually happen in the last teaser. It's in this one. But the scenes, I think, where that is important is when he's seeing the Amerlin. So I can't wait to see that. Now, this last little bit here, we see Egwene. We see her with the iron bit in her mouth. We see her hair braided again up out of her face for battle, and she's channeling, and she is just absolutely destroying all the people around here. Now, there were a number of scenes in the books where she trained with the Shan-Chan, and she learned she was very adept at Earth. I think that might be what she's doing here. It's showcasing off her skills and her raw power. I think we're going to get to see not a broken Egwene, not 100%, because remember, she broke a bit in the books, and she definitely broke a bit in the show. It was hard to watch, but I think she's not broken enough that she can't fight back. And she's going to be, I hope, doing those little Egwene things that she does to, cause problems for people. But this scene here showcases something. I think she's going to be trained just a little bit more by the Shan-Chan, and we're going to get to see it. And then, of course, let's stop here. The I Stand Ready with Rand. There's a lot happening in the next couple episodes. That's why I think this one isn't an episode 7 teaser. I think it's likely an episode 7 and 8 teaser. I'm not sure which scenes fit exactly where, but there's going to be a ton of stuff to see, and I'm very, very excited for it. All right, so those are the 2 teasers we had for episode 7 and or 8 or both. Not totally sure. First one definitely was for episode 7 because it happened at the end of episode 6. But what do you folks think? I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. What do you think we're going to see in episode 7 and 8? How's the story going to progress? How is Kyrene going to play out? We're pretty sure Lanfear is going to burn it all down. We're pretty sure we're seeing Trollocs. We're pretty sure we're seeing all kinds of just absolute chaos happening there. But how does that kind of push Rand and the rest of them out? Are they taking a Waygate? Are they going to use the ways to get to Falm? Are we seeing a portal stone? We're pretty sure we're seeing Flicker, especially with some of the Q&A stuff that Rafe Judkins talked about, where Rand is wearing prosthetics on his face. Old Man Rand fighting the Shadow Spawn and stuff, Two Rivers, maybe? I think so. So how does that play in? That maybe means we're getting a portal stone, or maybe it means using the ways in a different fashion than intended. Now remember, in the first season, you had to channel to open the ways. You could also use a leaf, an Avendasaura leaf, to do so, but it didn't really explain that really well. So either they're going to re-explain that they can, or maybe Rand will channel to open the ways and screw something up and cause them to have the flicker. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Do you think we're going to start seeing some of the battle for episode 7? Or is the full final battle in Falm going to be all episode 8? Just the whole thing. I'm really excited. How does Mat get to Kyrene? Does he go with Rand? Does he go separately? Perrin and Avienda, how do they meet Bane and Chiad? That's another big question. Is that going to happen in episode 7, episode 8? I want to hear your thoughts on all of the stuff down below. Anyway, I'm pretty excited. Episode 7 is less than 24 hours away, so we don't have long to speculate. Let me hear your thoughts. Thank you so very much for sticking with us here to the very end. Here's to many more.